Good morning, everybody. Austin Hill Shaw, founder of Creativity Matters and author of the Shoreline of Wonder on being creative. Right now, I'm standing next to one of my childhood hangout places. I'm actually next to a sundial, which is located at Cranmer Park in Denver, Colorado. It's morning time right now, and in the background, in the distance is the Front Range, which is basically the eastern edge of the Rocky Mountains. And this is a sundial that was erected in 1941. And this sundial itself sits on top of a reservoir, basically a water holder, but it's beautiful, made of flagstone, and it's a place where you can sit out and look out at the Rockies and watch the sunset. And this park itself, it's interesting. There's a place called Lowry Air Force Base, which was over to the east from here, and this place historically was a place where they actually practiced bombing. They would do their bombing tactics here. So, for example, when I was growing up, I was on a football team called the Bombers. And so, anyways, every park has its history. But what I wanted to talk about here was specifically this sundial. And this sundial really was kind of a play structure growing up. But as I'm driving through here today, just stopping off, looking at my old neighborhood, what it reminds me of is the importance of the experiential nature of time. So often in our lives, we are kind of slaves to our watches, to our appointment books, and we simply have an understanding of time that is very conceptual. Meaning, I got to be here at 9 a.m. or I got to be at this place at 11 a.m. And we have a sense of that we either have too much time or we have too little time. If we have too much time, we're bored. If we have too little time, we're stressed out. And what often we forget about, I think, is this experiential nature of time. What it's actually like to see, experience the sunrise, watch the sunset, looking at the phases of the moon, and really valuing and honoring the changings of the seasons. And I think that that's one of the reasons that's a real missed opportunity for us. There's a chapter in my upcoming book called Deconceptualize, Your Concept of Time, which is all about the teaching about trying to get us back into the experience of experiential time, which is very different from, again, this conceptual framework that we live in when we're thinking about time. And even though this was a sundial that we also used as a play structure, but it's ingrained in my life. We used to run up and down this thing in order to just sort of entertain ourselves as children. But when you're thinking about your own life, I really encourage you to recognize that the time that we live in, the time that we use, is actually a fabrication, the conceptual time. I know I used to do an astronomy presentation at a science camp, and I know remember from that there's not 24 hours in a day, there's actually 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4.1 seconds, right? So that sort of dictates kind of the day and night. That's one experience. The other one is, of course, the months. So there's 28 days, but even that's not exacting. This phase of the moon are always shifting. And then we have our yearly cycles as well in terms of the time in which we go around the sun. And basically the conceptual frameworks we live with, the 24-hour calendar, a 28, 29, 30, 31 day month, those are all fabrications by which we try to organize time, which is actually a little bit, doesn't quite fit into the molds that we give it. That's why we have leap years, we've had adjustments throughout history. But what I encourage you to do, and what I'd like you to do is again, it's important that we use our calendars. You have to use our calendars to get things done. But the experience of insights, for example, those times where we fall into those aha moments, those are timeless. And we can cultivate those more by getting outside of our, using a watch, for example, or using a calendar on occasion, and scheduling unscripted time where we're saying, okay, I'm actually going to take a pause from the ruthlessness of the time schedule that I hold for myself. And when we do that, magic things open up. I could think of, for example, The Artist's Way, a really famous book by Julia Cameron, where she talks about something called the artist date. And the artist date is basically time that you set aside where you go and do things that really don't have anything to do with productivity or getting things done. They're all about nourishing your artist's heart and nourishing your ability to relate to the world as it is, not having a sense of I have to be somewhere or this is taking too long, but just drop back into the experience of time. And I think that's a great way to be. So anyways, if you have any comments on your own relationship to time, I would love to hear about it. It's time has always been a really interesting thing for me because, of course, we can use it as a tool for getting things done, and yet the greatest experiences of my life personally seem to sit in the timeless. They kind of start things, the sense of time falls away, and that's, I know, when I'm happiest. So I'd love to hear what you think about this. Please, leave a comment in the comment sections. And if you're not on my website right now, www.austinhillshaw.com, please go over there and check things out. Again, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. And I'm going to do something historically that, again, I used to do all the time, but just going to try it on for laughs here, okay? So just give me a minute. I'm going to run over this thing. So there we have it. That's it. So thank you so much. Again, this is Austin Hill Shaw, founder of Creativity Matters and author of the Shoreline of Wonder on Being Creative, reminding you to connect deeply, to make a difference, and to inspire creativity in others. Thank you so much.